everybody. It's now 2:03 p.m., December 12th, 2024. Meeting of the Board of Directors, the Georgetown Divide Public Utility District. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Director Stovall.
Present.
Director Saunders.
Present.
Director Thornborough.
Here.
Vice President Seaman. Here. And President McDonald.
Here. Vice President Seaman, would you care to lead us in the pledge?
Okay, right over, get over there.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. If there are no public comments on the adoption of the agenda, I ask for a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there any, Sheree?
Yes, I have a complaint about how many times the agenda gets adjusted, things added. That wasn't corrected until Tuesday, the 2 addresses that were on the front of the agenda. There was an error. And then something was added today. Another item was added that wasn't on before.
There wasn't an item added.
Or so it wasn't included in the packet.
It was a date that was adjusted. It was a typo from
There
the,
was no adjustment to the agenda.
no adjustment to the agenda, just the name, the date that appears on the agenda. So it's went from January 1st to January 6th of when the potential rate increase will take place.
Today's agenda?
No, that was on the
correction today
resolution.
I'm talking about. There's more.
Yes.
We need to distinguish between the agenda and the agenda packet. The agenda can't change.
Well, it did.
No, there's the agenda, which is the 2 or 3 page document that lists all things, and the agenda packet, which is the resolution, all the documents behind it.
Okay, but the agenda changed because the address was put at the top, but in the notice section, it still has the district office on it for anybody on Zoom or the phone. And that didn't get corrected till Tuesday.
All right, well, it's an inconsequential, if that,
Just telling you.
yeah, okay.
Thank you. I'll now close this for public. I see Bob has his hand raised.
So, Mr. Pro, is this regarding the agenda or is this a public comment?
This is not public, it's not general comment.
Just, I think,
You're on mute, Mr. Pro, Bob.
Well, you guys did it. Go ahead.
so is this, Mr. Pro, is this regarding the agenda or is this regarding a public comment you'd like to make?
The public comment.
So that's the next thing, we will come to you at the public comment section.
Okay.
We were.
Thank you.
Move to adopt the agenda.
Motion was seconded initially by Director Thornhill, seconded by Director Saunders. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Now, board reorganization. Item 3, board reorganization will now begin. And before then, though, swearing in and roll call of the seated board members.
That's okay.
Mitch and Michael, you want to come up here, please? So I'm stepping in for Lori Carlin today, the District 4 Supervisor. I'm George Herman, the District 2 Supervisor. Lori's at RCRC, so that's the reason why she's not here today to swear these 2 members in. So I'll be doing that. I state your name.
Michael, I, Richard McDonald,
You solemnly swear to or affirm
do solemnly swear to affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California.
that I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation for you
without any mental reservation
without any reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of engagement,
that I will well and faithfully,
that I will
that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, you guys are sworn in.
Thank you very much.
Michael. Thanks, Mitch. All
We
right,
do a photo with you guys?
yeah.
Oh, stand still.
Oh, thank you, Richard.
Little X's on the floor, big guys. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bart.
All right,
Something.
I have a question.
Mr. Pro, we're not to public comment yet.
Not public comment, it's on the swearing in.
We don't have public comments on swear. All right. Is there?
Okay, go ahead, Mr. President, we do have to take a comment, Mr. Pro.
Okay, a comment from Mr. Pro. Go ahead, sir.
What are we on now, please?
We're on 3A, sir.
That's public comment?
No, 4 is public comment. We're on board reorganization. You asked about something about in regarding to the swearing in.
Yes, I was wondering whether the board members need to sign a paper besides just affirming it by voice.
Yes, there is a paper that they signed. It is also signed by the person swearing them in.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. B, election of officers for calendar year 2025, president, vice president, and treasurer. And possible action to adopt this approval of board officers.
So there's a couple ways to handle this, Mr. President. You either can, somebody have nominated a slate of people and we can approve them as a slate, or somebody can be nominated individually. And we can go through the process of president, vice president, and the secretary individual, or not secretary, the treasurer, excuse me.
Director Thornburg?
I got a comment on that. Last year when we did this, we tried doing it to group together and that ended up being a, you know what? And so we decided, let's just do it individually. I think that's what we should do.
That is up to the 5 of you, and that's out of the decision you all can make.
Okay.
Someone like to make a motion, Director?
I'd like to make a comment. After attending the Special District Leadership Academy, it's my opinion that all officers should have attended this or should attend it. There's one coming up in April, and there's also some online classes. So it's my opinion that for the benefit of the district and the leadership of this group, that this is a good resource to have available and go through that training.
Thank you, Director Stovall.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Director Seaman as president.
Do I get a second?
I'll step in.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Yeah.
Do you agree to attend this training or take it online?
That is one of the options there.
Okay. You want to answer the question?
I'm not gonna agree, but right now,
Okay.
We have a second by Director Thornburg. All in favor?
Aye.
no.
Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed?
One opposed. Motion passes 4-1. The Vice President Seaman now will be President, Vice President. Have a motion for Vice President. I nominate then Director Saunders, Vice President. All in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead, Director Stovall.
Who attended this conference?
Yes, I have. Distinction of, director of the distinction board.
I'm in favor. Okay. So then, 5-0, none opposed. Motion passes. Director Saunders, Vice President. Finally, the third officer position would be treasurer. Would someone like to make a motion for the office of treasurer?
Make a motion to, nominate Director Stover.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yep, I have my certificate on hand.
I hope you check out, you can go in the law, I appreciate starting that.
Okay, then, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-4, none opposed. Motion passes unanimously for Director Stovall to be treasurer of the board. Thank you, board members.
I have a,
Go ahead.
I have a comment to make and or a motion on the floor.
Go ahead.
I would recommend, as normally is that the slated board becomes, that takes the meetings, effective immediately. I recommend that the slated board that has just been elected start in January.
And I'm in favor of that as well. Or I could comment on that.
I'd like to make a comment, that's out of order, that's not agendized, so we would have to, agendize when we do that.
Well, that is,
It's,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it doesn't, it's part of the agenda item of the election of officers. When the officers start is really up to the board, when they actually start their duties. So if you wanna start, there's no policy that specifically says you have to start right away. So if that's just something you wanna clarify, then I would clarify that. But we should have some kind of consensus of the board on that.
Director Thurman? I like that. I agree with that because, first of all, the agenda item says, it clearly states that it's for calendar year 2025. That's the way it says on the agenda. That's one thing about it. The other thing is that, one of the responsibilities of the board president is to be involved with the general manager in the preparation of the agenda. And so, the newly elected president is not involved in the agenda for this whole meeting, whereas the existing president was. And so I think that we should, I think there's another reason to just, we make all the, thank you. Make all the letters start on the first meeting in January. That's what I think.
Because the only reason I have, that maybe against that is if the outgoing president is not elected, then we will not have the president for that meeting. Because we would have voted in the president, and the outgoing president is for the president, so that's why. So let's say Mitch was not voted in.
Right.
Donald will be president, and Mitch would not be president, so there is a possibility that if you're two or three of the previous elected officers, the president would not be here for that meeting. That is why.
But I don't.
It's not a problem for right now, so for right now, but I would not make that a.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I would not make that a permanent, practice.
this sets no precedent.
But for the president to start in January, I'm sorry for that. Okay. But not a permanent precedent.
This is, yeah, the way I look at this precedent.
Correct.
I was just gonna say, the way I look at this is just the board's decision right now. You clearly would not make that decision if you would have a vacancy. It sets no precedent. And until the board sets a policy, it can defer that until the first meeting of January, install that as officers right away. It's really the board's preference. And obviously, I don't think the board would do that on a year where there would be no one to fill that seat in their period.
Okay, so. Okay, so.
You have
You're still king.
Do we have consensus?
I have to accept the opportunity to finish this panel. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I know that's so long,
I agree with it. I'm in consensus for what it is.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
So you're the president for.
And we have a meeting on 12/18, I think, too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Consider board assignments for the Finance Committee and Irrigation Committee. So at this time, I've asked for a motion for reconsideration of new committee assignments for the board members for each of these committees. Sure.
I have a question. Who was president?
Donna is the president. Next year,
Okay.
Michael Saunders is the vice president, and Director Stovall is the treasurer.
You guys can't hear
No,
Now it was.
we couldn't hear.
us? So we're having a problem.
Maybe the people in the front row will let you sit there if you want. So sorry to disturb what you guys are doing right now. I just wanted to tell you that the sanctuary is set up, the bathrooms are clean, and everything's ready for tonight for your event. So I hope you have a great night.
Thank you.
Sorry to disturb you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks, Michael.
All is good. They're not hearing, then tonight they will read it.
So we're gonna have a microphone for this evening. We just don't have the person to do the system here. So the next item is.
I'll speak louder, unless you want to move closer. Well,
We're all friendly. We don't bite, we promise. The next item, Mr. President, is to.
So clarification, point of order, for clarification, Mitch will be the president till the end of the year.
And then you take over.
That's correct. That's correct. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Now for consideration of board appointments, irrigation and finance. Would there be a motion by any of the directors to, well, what's that?
Go ahead.
I would like to stay on the irrigation committee.
And I would also.
Okay, so Don and I would volunteer to be on the irrigation committee.
Director Stovall over there.
I perceive no, I would prefer no changes from the current year for next year for the representatives from the board on both committees.
I agree.
I mean,
So let's make a motion then.
And then we, keep the current,
Slate.
board assignment to the committee.
Second.
The irrigation and the finance.
Thank you, Director. Vice President Seaman, I was, Vice President Seaman. I may not be available, to be, on the finance committee.
Oh, so we, okay, then I take it back.
Yeah, that's,
So we need a position for.
Might be advantageous to have the treasurer and the vice president as liaisons to the finance committee in that case.
I'm not sure how that is, but
I will agree.
okay. All right, we can move.
Okay, I make the motion that Michael Thornborough and Donna Seaman are going to remain on the irrigation committee. Michael Saunders and Robert Stovall will be on the finance committee.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0 for committee assignments.
Thank you all.
All right, consider appointing the legislative liaison.
Mr. President, current legislative liaison is Director Saunders. At this time, if somebody else would like to nominate someone for the position, or as was previously stated, could continue on, Director Saunders could continue on in his role.
Director Stovall,
I move that Director Saunders continue in that position for the next calendar year.
Second.
all in favor? Aye, none opposed. Director Saunders will continue to be the board liaison for the legislative committee. Thank you. E, consider appointments to outside organizations. First being EDWA, El Dorado County Water Agency. Director Thornwell.
I was on that before, and I didn't know. Yeah, however, I have to do this, that's gonna be a possibility because of the location of the turnover there, so.
There's some clarification.
If you just, I'm gonna give the whole spiel.
We're too slow.
Well, you didn't even give me a chance to jump in. So we do all these, I'm gonna explain all these positions and why they're on here. So the EDWA position is on here as we could have a potential for somebody, if somebody else were to resign from the board, and then that person could take over in their role. It is not likely to have this as a position for the district for another couple of years, but having somebody to act in that stead would be what we were looking for here. And the most recent was Director Thornborough, so we could continue with him. For Regional Water Authority, this is a position where one elected official and one staff member is on their board. Currently, Director Saunders is on there, and he is also their up for their vice chairmanship. Mountain Counties Water Resource Association is, we just affirmed Director Seaman, and she was elected to their board of directors as of their last meeting on Friday. So congratulations to Director Seaman. And the last one is the Association for California Water Agencies Joint Powers Insurance Authority, or ACWA JPIA, as we commonly refer to it as. So currently you have Director McDonald as the current representative, with Director Saunders as an alternate. So you guys can continue the slate, or if anybody does not wish to remain in those roles, then we could have somebody appointed to do those roles now.
Thank you, Director Thornborough.
I have a question. On these seats, I know El Dorado Water Agency, that's a seat that we have that we share with other agencies and stuff, and so that's an actual seat on the board. On the RWA, well, these other ones, are those actual director seats?
That is correct.
All of them are?
It is, so that the Mountain Counties, Director Seaman was just elected to their board.
Okay.
It is not quite the same as what EDWA does, because EDWA is a special district. Mountain Counties is a trade association of multiple special districts. So she sits on a board of directors to guide policy, to guide principles, to guide how the regional nature of that organization. And the same would be said for Regional Water Authority. Those are Regional Water Authority is a special district, so you were actually on a special district board. And the best way I can describe it is Form 700 does have to be filled out for RWA and for El Dorado County Water Authority. I have to do some more research on Mountain County. I do not believe that is a Form 700 appointment,
Okay.
if that helps.
And the Alpha one isn't?
The ACWA one is.
It is?
It is.
Or you got to do Form 700?
Yes,
So you're actually on that board?
that is correct.
Okay.
Director Stovall?
Mitch, do you have plans to continue with the GDPUD powers, JPIA?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
So that's, so are we gonna make like a group motion? Is that?
So you could move the slate with an amendment of removing Director McDonald and adding in Director Stovall as the representative to ACWA JPIA.
Okay, well, I don't know if we have to remove anybody. To consider appointments to outside organizations.
Yeah, so but if you move the slate, that means you're gonna continue with everybody in their positions. However, Director McDonald has expressed interest in not continuing in his role.
Okay,
Only one that's got it.
how about if I do it this way? If I make a motion that, Director Comer will be on the El Dorado Water Agency, Director Saunders will be on the RWA, Director Seaman will be on the Mountain Counties, and Director Stovall will replace Director of President McDonald on the APIA.
That is perfect.
Second.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
One amendment that I would in fact like to make as a.
That's not on the list.
Not on here.
Well, can we do that, Frank?
Said there was an alternate on this, so.
There is not an alternate on EDWA.
There is.
There was,
There is.
that was.
Oh, okay. So I apologize. There is, we.
I amend my motion to, in addition to what I said before, add, Director Saunders as a alternate for the APIA, and Director Seaman as an alternate for the, Eldorado Water. No problem. All right, that's my motion.
Can I get a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes with all those amendments.
Well, hopefully that's all that.
Got it?
Okay.
Okay. F, consider adoption of the 2025 calendar year regular meeting schedule.
Thank you, Mr. President. This includes, both board meetings, irrigation committee meetings, and finance committee meetings. A couple of notable changes to the board calendar is we are moving away from the first Thursday in January to the 9th. Being so close to the holiday, we wanted to ensure that people weren't traveling, to and fro. And we wanted to, move that one Thursday in advance. We also included the budget workshop that is a typical board, budget workshop with both the finance committee and the board on May 22nd. And I believe that is all the prospective changes saved for the December meeting will also be one Thursday in the future.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a request to move the May 1st meeting. I will not be in the country on the 1st, and I will not be able to, I don't know the internet situation, and I don't know about putting a public teleconference, whether we can, solve this country. So I don't believe I can teleconference in that. So I'm sure we can move the May 1st to an alternate meeting.
May 8th, we have an option.
I believe May 8th is the week of Aqua. No, actually, that would probably work. There is an RWA board meeting that day though.
15th is possible.
What time's that board meeting?
From 8 to 12, not 9 to 12, excuse me.
Sacramento, so.
Yeah, that's
It's in Faro. You should be able to make it.
Hopefully I can make it back. No problem.
Well, considering we do this.
Maybe.
May 8th.
All right, maybe.
Can I get a motion to adopt the regular meeting schedule with those two exceptions, January and May?
Yeah, but he said
It's like.
You do it, okay, second?
Second. Hang on one second. We want to make sure the motion's.
I want to make sure
Only-
there's only one change. The other change is already written into the schedule, which is the January change.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you're approving the schedule as is with the amendment to change the naming from May 1st to May 8th.
Correct.
that's your motion, right? And second by Director Thornhill. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes 5-0, none opposed.
Now you'll do the public comment.
Now, is public forum. Please note that the guidelines for the public forum as they appear on the agenda. As a reminder of the Brown Act, the public must address all of their public comments to the board, not to staff or members of the public. And then due to the Brown Act limitations, the board is not able to discuss or take action on items not on the agenda. The public forum is now open. And floor is open to Cherie.
I only got 3 copies, I have that functional computer program. I know you guys are gonna have to do. I will email it to you. Okay, it's come to my attention that the 2 4-inch meters at the Golden Sierra High School are not functioning properly. You look on meter A photo from 11/22, the same reading as the one, the first part of the month. And in my opinion, this needs to be investigated, and conducted before you finish the 218 process. And, or it be canceled or continued, as it appears that the biggest customers have not had 4-inch working meters for years. So it's been 2 years. Are they just guesstimating how much water they're using? So in my opinion, the amount of fees are big enough to impact the rate study. And there may be other meters that are not reported their actual use, and then why, and these are, brass meters, why aren't they electronic meters? Right, we paid for them for Ferguson, and they haven't been in, so it appears the meters haven't been working for some time. When were the meters replaced red, and how and when are the schools billed for their water, or are there other large meters not registering their use? So I went back to the rate, or to the contract for this, and there's 3 4-inch meters, and 2 of them are at Golden Sierra High School. So I think you might want to think about it. And I will be emailing this to all of you.
Where's the third?
Well, I guess George.
So we're not aware of any deficiencies in metering at this time. This, would you like an explanation? So this is a meter that is tied to the fire system at the school, and it does not run unless the fire system is operated. They have a regular meter that they operate normally for drinking water use. This is simply for fire service.
Yes, that should run.
It absolutely should not have any movement unless there's a fire at the school.
Okay, so then why do the meters not change?
Those are not meters that get changed. Those are for fire service only. These are leak detected meters. These are under SB 555. This is the only time those meters are
Okay,
read.
I asked at the last meeting, have all the meters been changed?
Okay, this
And
isn't,
said,
I just answered your question though. This isn't a meter that gets changed.
Director Seaman?
Can I ask a quick question? What they think supposed to be tested?
They're
I
back
mean, it's not
tested.
our problem, but it's a.
It's the school district tests them, yes.
They're required once a year to fire those things up and make sure they,
That is
not
correct.
the meters, but the whole system.
So this is a bypass meter. This is a bypass meter. See this right here? This is the system. This is where the water, they do the backflow testing. This is called a bypass system. If in case they want to be nefarious and steal water from us, we can still detect if they're stealing water from
Okay,
us.
all right,
So this shows that the school's not stealing water from
all
us.
right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I see Mr. Pro on deck. Please unmute yourself, please. Thank you.
I'd like to bring up to the board's attention that the system that they're using now to record and to speak to anybody on Zoom or even in that hall, it's virtually useless, especially when all the board members start talking over each other in a helter-skelter manner instead of being called on by the board president as we're supposed to be doing it. It's virtually unusable for us, the public, to take part in the meeting. That's why I had so much trouble at the beginning, because we can't hear you. You're muffled. You're staying away from your microphones from what I can observe. The people in the back were complaining already. And it's if you have a sound system and it doesn't work, then you don't have a sound system, and the public and even people in the audiences can't hear what you're saying.
Noted, Mr. Pro. Thank you very much. That's valid input for us. Appreciate it.
We need to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk even louder than we have. Thank you. Okay. I see no one else on deck. So I'll now close this public forum session. Next up, consent calendar, approval of minutes, and I see Director Seaman.
Didn't we have one other special meeting after the November 18th date that's not noted in it? We had a Friday meeting, granted it was a closed session, but it should have been noted. What?
We just haven't had the minutes put together yet. They'll be at the next meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
We haven't put the minutes together yet because it's been so soon, so we'll have them at the next meeting.
Oh, okay.
So no board members wish to pull any items, okay? Now I'll open up public comment.
Consent calendar.
Okay, I see none. I get a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Seconded, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes unanimously for the consent calendar, none opposed. Next, Office Finance Manager's report.
Yeah, at this time, we will turn it over if there's any questions about any of the financial documents and any of the check register or anything else and the grant reporting. Maybe turn it over to public comment. Is there any public comments or no board comments?
Okay. Any member of the public? And you said, what was your last thing? You said,
Just, grant, any of the stuff that's underneath finance, Office of Finance Manager report.
okay, so there was no, okay. And at this time, we'll move on to informational items. And, check the board report. First one being, Director Stovall.
I have nothing to report. I was out of town for both the finance committee and the December 6th board meeting.
Thank you. Director Saunders.
I'll be submitting my board report. There's a copy at the back for the public, just because in terms of operating. So my board meetings are there, the events that I attended, and a little bit more. The other community events I attended was the Marshall Foundation Gala, Christmas at Cool, and the International Human Rights Event. The majority of my board report will cover the Aqua Conference report, and I will also fill in some of the GDPUD stuff for Mitch. So in terms of we once again received the President's Special Recognition Award, which meant we were under 20% for our insurance claims in both property, health benefit, and workman's comp. So normally we used to receive checks back because they're not for profit, but now they maintain the reserve and put it into the reserve, so the healthcare doesn't go up as much. So they use it to offset the rising healthcare costs. So in terms of all of our programs that we are in, workman's comp stayed the same. Property is going up 10%, and that's basically because of all of the wildfires. Pretty much just has insurance going up everywhere. We're able to maintain it a little better and keep insurance because of the California Revenue Insurance Fund that the GDPUD has, which is an extra capital we have. Membership benefits, that one is going up 12%, I believe, and they're trying to keep that stable. The industry standard healthcare is going up 25%, so it's 12% overall. But when you look at certain programs are going up. So like the Anthem, the Vision, Dental, so most of them are going to stay the same. It's just a couple of the HMO ones will go up to that. And the other property liability, workers' comp, the rest are not going up. Cybersecurity is not going up as well. And that was it for the numbers. And so, and Mitch can cover the rest. In terms of the conference, the key highlights of interest. So the Energy Committee, the key programs, doing a solar program is key takeaway is to keep energy in the fence, because now there is no real revenue after net metering, reduce the revenue you sell back to the grid by 70%. The best use of solar will be to offset your high energy costs, utilize battery storage, use it during times of high energy times. You know, when it becomes dark, solar is now off the grid, that's when energy ramps up to keep up with the solar that was in the grid. So if you use your battery to offset the revenues by the energy times, for public safety power shutoffs and outages, and create for microgrid for agency. Local government committee, we have a guest speaker from EK, it's coming to you, and we are working as a committee to work on policies to help our water districts with users in terms of providing water and sewer services with all the new laws that came out, and also paving. Paving standards, a lot of times once we dig and put piping in, the county and many counties, maybe the districts, put above what it was when we dug it up, so they want it to be at standard, and the extra infrastructure requirements goes against our Prop 218, because that was the stuff that was on the county side, so we're putting that extra cost on our ratepayers. The Bay Delta plan, there are two pathways, the one that is the unimpeded flows, which will be about a 55 to 65% pass through, and then the Healthy Rivers and Landscape Program, that basically hydro folks have an acre-foot release based on 1 year conditions. It's a more governed program, and there's potential for monetary reimbursements in water. So the State Water Resource Control Board is taking public comments, I believe, up to December 19th, and the hearings will go in order. So we still will continue to advocate for the Healthy Rivers and Landscape Program. And the Outreach Award, so we won the Outreach Award this year for Region 3, and it's based on our overall interaction with letters and contacts made for advocacy and support. So thank the board for all the support that they did to get us letters and contracts and advocacy for the bills, the legislation and regulations. And that's it for my report.
Thank you, Director Saunders.
And I'll bring the award tonight because I left it on my table. What is this? Oh, anyway, I should have brought it.
Thank you. Director Thornborough.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Okay, all right, well,
chain of command, buddy.
Ralph and I, attended the, the Christmas and pool event. First time I've been to that, surprisingly. I've heard about it, I just never went, so we had a good occasion to go, and we handed out, little GDPUD rubber ducks, and those were a huge hit for little kids. So that went really well. That's kind of fun.
Thank you for the rubber duck report.
You're welcome. Oh, and just so I don't get audited or anything like that, I kited one of the rubber ducks for my son. Okay.
We'll bill you for it. We'll bill you for it.
Okay, yeah.
For the record, thank you.
I think you did too.
No, I did not.
All right.
Yeah. Vice President, President Seaman.
Oh, whatever you want. I attended Christmas and pool and was there for the entire time with Liz, and I have to thank her for all the hard work she did. Being there, setting it up, helping tear it down. And we had fun. Yeah, thank you.
And for my report, thank you, Director Saunders, for filling in. I had a medical emergency at the conference, so thanks for, and then I was in travel this week, but I do have a summary of everything you said. I'll inject into the official records, and that's all I have to say. I'd like to open it now. Oh, here we go. For
The operation manager first.
yeah.
Alright. You're right here, so it's a good conversation between you two. So yeah, just going through operation report. So Stunning Meadows started to fill now. Kind of inflow our outflow this time. So we're starting to make progress to fill stuff backs up for the year. Looking at treated water production, gross water use over time. We're a little higher than we have been in average, so that just probably attributes to a drier fall period. Moving on to the second page is this is our typical summary of the field work we did this month. So I'll kind of go through as we go through the photos, talk a little bit about some of the work included there. So the first one we did have our tunnel inspection.
I don't have a full report yet. I actually just got a draft yesterday, so I don't, haven't had time to review it and finalize it yet. Key takeaways from it is, doing a kind of annual in-house inspection, going through the report, identifying if anything has changed drastically. Similar inspection to this every 5 years. Overall, it's quick summary, like again, want more detail in January. Overall, the tunnel's in good, fair condition. There are some areas, some blocking and stuff we probably should address and probably, work on that in the next fiscal year. But there's there was nothing identified where we're in dire straits of the tunnel, but there was some maintenance work that, we should address, before, because obviously it's a moist environment, so the more, water going through there, so tough stuff does corrode and break down. So we need to stay on top of that and not, 94, 2024, we should have that 30 gap window. So I'll have a better presentation next month on that with the full report. That's the plan. Moving on, this is main break on our Spanish Dry Diggins treated water area. I wanted to actually point this break out. This actually happened at Thanksgiving Eve, Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. So we're out there till midnight repairing this. In the second pitch, you see one of the operators, drilling the jackhammer. Unfortunately, a lot of our main lines are like that. A lot of our main lines are, they're not bedded properly. They're not bedded in sand. So we do have these issues where you have just a small shift in a pipe can create a pretty big crack or break. So it's something we're always looking at. That area is something we know about. We've had a lot of breaks in areas. It's something we'll probably have to address on a bigger scale in the future. Next, below that is the pump station. So as you know, and from our CIP, we're going through and, refurbishing our pump stations. They're old. A lot of pumps were not working. We didn't have redundant. So now we have this. We've done one of them, working on 2 more right now. So redundant pumps, redundant pressure switches, redundant just on-off switches. Just to make sure, we always supply water. It's always, it's always obviously the main goal of the district, continuous, reliable drinking water. So moving on, we're doing some work for our canal lining off season. So as you can see this, and we have a culvert that was collapsing, so we were able to go in there and repair that culvert and do some concrete inside and outside of that culvert just for the transition portion, so we're getting future erosion, and that culvert will last for an expected useful life. Same thing on the next page, just some more sections working on, just kind of trying to clean up some different areas, and either really bad, they have a lot of stagnant water and all flow through there, or really prioritizing any spots where we, could be impacting a down slope resident, a property owner. That opens up the district a lot of liability if we do have those kind of impacts. So we're focusing on that. Capital improvement program. Next page, distribution tank coating or distribution tanks. So working on the cathodic protection request for bid. We're still scoping for next year for some lining projects. We're working through those to try to figure out bypasses and how we're going to do storing water for when the tank's offline. We have a couple tanks that they're challenging to take offline or do the maintenance too. So we're working on that on the backside, ready for next year. Master meters, we have 6 of 8 installed. I think that was the same update as last time. The pump station, so the pump station reservoir is basically complete. Irish Lane, we have the material. We just got to kind of find a good day to do it. We have some weather, so it's on a pretty remote road. So if it's raining at all, it's not really feasible to do. So we're kind of holding off to get that better time to do that. Tunnel inspection, like I mentioned, January, February. The canal lining, that's kind of where the locations we're working on. So we're making progress on those, expected to be, before irrigation season. General activities, Cal Park, it's always a long report. There's a lot going on with stuff, I feel like. Cal Park grant, we're moving forward with that. We have a lot of the right of entry agreements back. We're probably gonna send a second letter to try to get more people to read them and agree to that. So we can do that work. We're gonna start, we've done the environmental review on the district properties as part of the project. So that bid will be going out shortly for that portion of it. And then the private property will kind of come in the second phase. HGMP grant, a couple weeks ago, we did, that's the grant that covers, it came about because mosquito fire towards structure 6 and structure 7. We actually do an environmental, historic preservation review of that. So we had a site visit, Cali Vest and their contractors came out. That's kind of the last step. So we're hopefully anticipating that. We don't really have a date, but it's moving forward. It's taking a very long time, but it's moving forward. So that's good news. USDA, that's the Upper Canal Section Piping Project. I think we're within a couple of weeks of that funding actually be allocated when the final steps of it. So hopefully we'll have good news shortly with that. So the next one is California Conservation Corp. They actually approach us through, we're actually working on their cross connection at their new facility. And I was just talking to one of their, I guess, managers there, and they have a program for vegetation clearing that's basically free. You have to do a non-exempt maintenance CEQA review, which is pretty minor compared to some of ours. So they're actually, I'm working with them to do some work. It's through the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. It's money they have to spend. They don't have any sponsors. So we're going to work with them similar to Growling, but we're not going to pay for it. It's basically, it's free for them to do the work. So as you know, the California Conservation Corps is like a training program. So we're into that now, and we're going to focus on buried raw water pipelines and treated water pipelines. Some areas that go across country where they're not, so we don't get impact from trees as they get larger and larger and damage the pipe. The FEMA projects, you know, we're still, I feel like we're broken record on those. We're still waiting, so we're looking through those slowly. And moving on, this is the next page 8, same page from the irrigation committee. This kind of summarizes the end of our irrigation season, the cost it took, and the time and material it took, I guess, to, you know, maintain each section of the ditch after the season last year until the end of the season this year. So it's kind of summarizes, so it gives us a good picture, a snapshot annually of, you know, where our efforts are going, you know, where we can improve, where we can, you know, make difference for the next year going forward. So then moving on, so the current water season. So the current water season, basically summer, we do this table every year. You see the numbers. I think the main takeaway is we do see in our improvements we're doing is making a difference. You know, more water is going to beneficial use of either treated water customers, irrigation customers. I think that's always the ultimate goal. You'll see on the bottom, it kind of talks about loss on operation. So we're always trying to clean that up, you know, get those numbers as low as we can, make sure our gauges are working properly, they're calibrated. We did put some new flumes in this last year, so we're making sure that it's fine tuned as we can get it. Obviously, it's not a perfect system, you know, it's an open canal system from 1800. So, you know, we do the best we can. But I think the takeaway is we're putting more water to use where it should be used, and not being lost. So for the next water season, it's kind of our first look, moving forward into 2025. Right now, or last week, something's at 10% of average, 82% capacity. So that's good going into the winter season. I think from the first page we look back, we're similar to 2022, a little bit lower than 2023 in the after the irrigation season. So our model looks, you know, 10% of the time we'll see an inflow up to 38,000 acre feet into Stumpy Meadows. Obviously that's, you know, will range from, you know, 4,800 to 38,000. So basically, based on those numbers, there's an 80% chance that we'll meet all the irrigation demands by April 1st. So there still is a chance. Typically what we see with other years, we see around the 50th to 75 percentile, which we would meet our demands if that was to come through. So the next is just graphs and charts, seasonal precipitation temperature outlook. I know Alexis has it in her report, the monthly, this is the 90-day, so I have this in the 90, so it says equal chances, but obviously this can change a lot. We have these storms that are bring a lot of water really quickly, so, we'll see what happens moving forward. And then last are charts, from the model that depict the different levels in the table, where we can expect the reservoir to be at certain times of the year based on the exceedances in our demand, and the different capabilities on the well. And the last page is our monthly water demand assessment we do every month, and like I said, it's a little higher, but nothing significant.
Water Resources Management Report.
I will be your water resource manager for today, and I am not gonna do a very good job at it. Because I don't know all the numbers that she reads out typically, but I will just make note of over 9 inches of rain. And it's looking pretty promising to have a full reservoir very, very soon. If you have any questions, I know, Alexis, she had a family commitment with her sons to play, sports. And so I made sure that she was there supporting her family as opposed to here with us. So if you have any questions, I can get you any answers later on.
I do have a question that's more for, and Brian sitting here as well, just, we've seen another atmospheric river, so just, any, backing up, and then just try to improve those two systems to be careful of any, storm.
So far, we've had no spills.
Okay, sounds good.
The fixes appear to be working.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah.
Jim's report.
Yeah, I'll be really short and real sweet. I was able to finally finish complete my Aqua JPIA Leadership Essentials program. I did include my certificate graduating that program. It's been a really awesome program. Kind of opened my eyes to some of my deficiencies and things that I can work on and do better for my staff and when I'm presenting to people. And I will just give a shout out to Adam Brown, who is in the next cohort for that same program, and he has been doing quite well in it as well. I was able to attend and speak at the Mountain Counties Water Resource Association Water Forum. It was a surprise panel. We were put on a panel of several other GMs in the area and asked what our needs and biggest concerns were moving forward into 2025. So that was kind of interesting. And I also was able to speak at the Aqua conference on the last day of the conference about rate studies and the outreaching effort that we did here as a district to ensure that everyone received as much information as possible for that. And then finally, it doesn't exactly say it in here, but I just received confirmation from our federal advocate that the word bill that includes our $20 million has been passed through the House of Representatives. It passed like 379 to like 20. It's a really high number, and it's on to the Senate. Shouldn't be a controversial bill in the Senate as well, and it should go on to the president's desk within the next couple of weeks to be signed. So it's a really good sign of the $20 million. It's an earmark for appropriation. And then lastly is we did get confirmation on the hydro, the $7 million for the hydro that it was put forth by Senator Butler. It is still working its way through the process. It is still looking very positive that we'll receive that $7 million as well. A little bit more slow on that one, and that has to do with some of the changes that are coming to the Senate and kind of just the slow movement of the pace in Washington. But it's all good news. Nothing as bad news as of yet. And I'd be happy to take any. Oh, I do. Lastly, a shout out Elizabeth Olson. You know, her certificate is also attached to my GM report. She received a certificate of completion in policy and procedure writing while she attended the CSDA Board Clerks Conference.
Yay. Anything?
It's been great. I mean, we did the policy manual on the committee, so it's kind of bringing that.
Mhm.
Yeah. you know.
So, finish the loop.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Nicholas. At this time, I would now like to open the public comment. And I see Cherie on deck.
I have a question for Adam. I sent you an email a few days ago about how much it takes, charges to pay down the meter. If somebody has a 5/8 one, or 1 inch, and they want a 5/8, what's it gonna cost?
Yeah, as the ordinance reads, it's basically time and material, so we would credit back the meter fee if we went from 1 inch to 5/8, and then whatever it would take to change it. Typically, it's about $100 to $300 to do that change.
From 1 inch to the
Yeah,
5/8?
yep.
But they wouldn't know.
Hard to tell because some laylings could be a little different, but usually we get like a little meter spud and extend out the 5/8 meter and fit it there.
Then I have a question on the BM's report. What's the 20 million?
It's basic.
Next in legislature.
You can wait, I can answer. It's basically for any projects that could, for water supply reliability.
Okay, well, what if we have it?
It is for any projects that the district wants to put forward to improve water supply reliability. It's very open-ended. I'm very sorry.
There's nothing on the grant list.
It's not a grant.
Well, appropriation, you call it a grant.
So this is this is an earmark for appropriation. Nothing is, we have to still apply for the money. We have to put forth projects that are going to be for it. Right now, what we're exploring is fixing the diversion at Onion Creek and reallocating that water supply back into a usable form that we can use here in the district.
Okay, and then the 7 million, who senator Butler, is that Butler, the state or federal?
Senator Butler was appointed after Dianne Feinstein passed away.
Oh, okay.
So it is a federal appropriation that has been moving through the process at the Senate level in Washington.
Okay. Thanks.
See no other comments? Well, committee reports, irrigation committee, directors, liaisons, and what do you like to-
We're kind of done for the year, which is nice. The irrigation committee did a great job this year, going through forms, looking at things, trying to do public outreach, flyers, and working with staff to get more communications out on requirements, since that seems to be one of the public biggest issues, is understanding what it means to have irrigation coming on their property and what the requirements for having irrigation on the property means to them. So, the same group, there may be an addition, I don't know, but they're gonna be, again, looking forward, trying to help, the customers understand what it means to have irrigation on the property. And not just take, information from their neighbors of what they think should be happening on a daily basis. So I commend them all. They're an excellent group to work with.
Thank you. Finance committee, Dr. Stovall out of town.
The last finance,
Would you like to-
yeah, I'd be happy to. The last the finance committee took a deep dive into the budget and the potential need for the budget to change, and looked at the numbers of where the budgets came in the last few years and how the budget is moving forward. The recommendation was no changes to the budget from the finance committee. They see everything moving in a positive direction and wanted to do another 6-month budget review at the January finance committee meeting to relook at the numbers.
And the only thing I could add to that is I extended an invitation for the treasurer of the Auburn Lake Trails board of directors and the treasurer of that committee attended by Zoom to get a sense of what it's like to be on a finance committee. And, he thought he kicked the tires that day and maybe in the future and is getting together with Chairman Miller, who's also on the design committee with them in the same subdivision, and they're gonna get more information and talk about what it's like to be a member of the finance committee. So that's kind of in the background happening right now. Ad hoc labor negotiations, or anything?
No meeting,
No meetings, okay, and then strategic planning, we have Director Seaman and Stovall, anything?
Waiting to get another meeting together.
Yeah, I got some good information out of the Leadership Academy, and I haven't taken the time to take that and add to the strategic planning yet.
We also have, we're working on passing the strategic plan document through staff at the district to ensure that any input is made at the staff level from the board's input as well. So we will likely, our next meeting will likely be in the beginning of the next calendar year.
Thank you.
Thank you. This time I'd like to open up the public comment. Director, Mr. Dowd.
Yeah, Steve Dowd. Donna, on the irrigation, outreach, I think we need to really outreach to old customers and possibly new customers to bring people into the fold. You know, we gotta sell that water and to bring in more money, you know, and, if we don't outreach, I talk to these people and get them to come in, I mean, we're just gonna be losing battle. And with the rate increase, the rate increase goes through, I fear more people are gonna drop out, so maybe lower rates and just urge people to come in and buy this water, because I need it out here. Thank you.
Thank you. We're just commenting about the public for board reports, committee reports. Thank you.
Oh, so what was the generator, where's that located?
That's section 8.
Oh, you're right, sorry, all right.
Yeah, board reports or committee reports. Okay, no, okay. Now we'll go to action items. Receive legislative update and develop district positions. Director Saunders, please.
Governor Manager covered the water resource, the Butler appropriation, and EJ grant has been go for the special the administration changes in January 2025. Those were all updates from Vectus, our federal advocate. Aqua updates, as I said before, we continue to work with the local government, city and county committee to work on potential solutions to deal with the impact of the multi-purpose bills. And federally, the headquarters work group they will be meeting with the new Senator Adam Schiff to bring him up to speed on California and Western regional water issues. In the packet that I have, it has a legislative summary of what we laws which affected 2715 will allow to have in closed session threats that are for cybersecurity. So that's what we would need to closed session of those. Teleconferencing, AB 2302 was added. This changed the language for alternate teleconferencing in specified circumstances. So this was the special just cause and emergency one. And it changed the meetings to instead of the 20% and 10%, it changed to if you're 2 meetings per year, if we meet once per month or less, 5 meetings per year if the legislative body meets twice per month, 7 meetings if the legislative body regularly meets 3 or more times per month. So it defines it based on that. My question for legal counsel is, does this include the Brown Act committees and their calculation if you're aware of that?
Sorry. Does it include the Brown Act committees?
Yeah, so irrigation and finance. would that-
Oh, our standing committees.
Yeah, the standing.
In fact, our Brown Act committees. This applies, I believe, to just the parent body.
Okay.
No, this would apply to the standing committees too, I correct myself. It applies to the legislative body as defined by the Brown Act, which includes the parent and the subsidiary bodies.
So that
The reason I got confused for a second is because there was some potential legislation that would allow basically remote without complying with all of these,
Right.
the just cause and stuff for advisories. In other words, there's an effort to allow more flexibility for advisories. But basically the legislature never went for it. So the same rule for the actual parent body will apply to the subsidiary bodies.
Okay. So that would mean we would be allowed 7 meetings per year to teleconference. So we allow you to teleconference into the standing committees as well, based on the just cause or special.
And where are you reading this at?
This is it, that applies to us.
To this board.
That's the-
And Director Monroe, just to be clear, this is something that I think 3 or 4 of you have already used, including yourself. It's just that this law will allow more than, like, right now it's only 2 times a year, and now you can do it more than twice a year. So like if someone's ill, for example, and they need to appear remotely as a board member, and that's been used by this board. The law typically has been, I think the law is just 2 times, and now it can be up to, depending on how many times the board meets, it's probably 6 or 7 times a year.
But is it under the same conditions?
Yes,
As the 2 are now?
Yes.
Same emergency conditions?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, the other one is unlimited for regular teleconference, one where you put your location and open that to the public. And the only thing I have that on the bottom is the reminder for that is the quorum does not have to be in the building. The quorum for the teleconferencing does have to be with access to the public. So there must be an access to the public with the quorum in the district. So if there is still in the district teleconference, it was stated that it does tax, so I don't know what you guys on that, right? That was the other question I had.
In terms of the traditional teleconferencing?
Yeah, so if there are still 3 within the district that have it traditionally, does that still count as a point?
You need 3 in person for there to be a quorum in the district.
Because the language says 3 within the district with open access to the public. So, I will never have that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that was one of the things.
The traditional teleconference and the alternative teleconference is still gonna require an in-person quorum. That was a big debate, and a big fight in the legislature, and that was one of the things that I talked about. They tried to ease for subcommittees,
Right.
and they didn't.
And then, SB 1210, that's the new one, just to check and look at in that one that, applies to, the housing development type. And I believe those are the only, there's a summary updates for all the ones that we went through, and then we talked about the district positions, the 3 that are still ongoing, all of the federal ones, and all of the state ones that passed are there. In suspense, a couple of them may come back next year, and all the ones that we were following, this is the updates. If there's any questions on those. No action required at this time.
You have public comment. Oh,
Okay,
Sri, go
did
ahead.
that pass or
Which one?
the one you were talking about?
Yeah, all of the ones I talked about have passed, so everything has passed.
And now which number was that one that you're talking about?
So if you go to legislative summaries, that one is on page 2, the first one right at the top, 802302.
Okay, right at the top. Now passed.
Yes, everything in here are passed, yeah. These are new laws that affect this.
So then Frank was saying that the finance committee has to fall under the same, correct?
Correct.
But then they don't actually meet every month because there's a lot of cancellations, irrigation, so how does that?
It's whatever the regular scheduled meeting frequency is.
But as long as there's a quorum in the building, then there can be some members, if they can't make it, to use that to teleconference there.
So you're saying you do have to have the 3 in the building?
Yes.
It may be more for the irrigation committee.
Whatever normal.
You still
quorum.
have to have, you still have to have
In the building.
in-person quorum in the building.
Okay, not on Zoom.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
all right.
That's all I have.
I don't think there's a motion there, it's just an update.
Yeah, no action is required.
Item B. So item B is, to adopt into the El Dorado County Hazard Mitigation Plan. It's the local hazard mitigation plan. This is something that staff worked to give input to the county to ensure that we were named within the document and all of our pieces to the puzzle were included. This will help us in the future to receive funding for potential emergencies. One of the biggest challenges we ran into with this was when we had the opportunity to get the HMGP money, we had to contract with the county to be our intermediary. That in the future, this will allow us to be our own intermediary with the FEMA folks and with the Cal OES folks. So what we're asking for today is to vote and to approve adopting into the local hazard mitigation plan.
The other thing I'll add to that is this also, lets you get into the BRIC program, which is, the pre-hazard mitigation, so it allows us to get grants from FEMA as well, and, this is, pretty important in terms of protecting the district, and I also brought this up because a lot of water agencies aren't in their local hazard mitigation plan as well, so this is something we can lean on and push through, not only our region, but mountain counties, regional water authority, and how.
Also, I checked through here, item D27 talks about disadvantaged communities. I checked with Nick and he said that there's some of the communities here are disadvantaged, some are not. Basically Garden Valley, Kelsey, and the Georgetown are disadvantaged. So if there are federal funds or state funds available to the pool, I don't know. Also, I just wanted to point out that the potential raising of the snow line and the reduction of water storage through snowpack may be reduced. It's not addressed in here, but we're looking at other ways to increase our storage capacity in that case.
Thank you, Director Stoll. No. I'll open up to public comment. No hands raised or public comment. Is there a motion on this item? Board?
I make a motion that, we adopt the resolution to adopt the jurisdictional hazard mitigation.
I'll second it.
All the records in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion passes unanimously. Consider authorization of Station 16 generator repair charges in the amount of $25,692. Possible action to authorize this payment.
Okay, thank you. So Station 16 is part of the ALT wastewater system. It is the station that is utilized to lift the water into the leach field. There was a repair that was required on the emergency generator. Unfortunately, the repair is higher than my signing authority. So you're here to seek authorization. I do have Brian Rule. So excuse me.
Yeah.
Brian Rule, sorry.
I know there's three of us.
I always get all you guys are confused. So we have Brian Rule, who is here to offer any questions and a small, quick presentation about kind of the repair work that needed to be done. So I'll turn it over to Brian.
Well, essentially, the reason the cost is so high is because of the type of electrical wiring we have. It's not typical Y-phase, it's a Delta Stinger. So they had to source a certain type of generator and install a transformer to supply the right type of power needed. So it's just outdated. So a lot of it was that cost.
Yeah, the power we have here has got a special, it runs a 440 line.
It's a So Delta Stinger is three-phase and single-phase mixed together. So each phase to each other is 240 volt. Your high leg to neutral is 208, and then your phase to neutral is 120. So it's funky.
Yeah, it has to do with the rural nature. We also deal with this at the headquarters, and
Yeah.
our generator at the headquarters building is also.
Typically in industrial manufacturing.
Do you anticipate this happening in the next 5 years in other locations?
Well, this is the only location we have this at, so I would hope not. Yes.
Midge.
Go ahead.
I guess if my understanding. This is at the pump station.
Correct, lift
And when
station,
the pump station, we are potentially looking at a spill.
wastewater spill. Correct.
So and we haven't had one for a few years.
Well, last year,
We have some.
we had one last year, but it wasn't due to overflow. It was due to a clog in the line.
Okay.
So it wasn't a lift
But
station
if
problem.
that pump station goes down, we
Then
are
we're-
looking at a catastrophic event
Yes,
that we will, congratulations, be fined for.
yeah, we're required to have backup
Yeah,
power.
I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Go ahead, Eric.
So this is the generator, transformer, anything that they need in order to make it adapt to what we have.
Correct. Well, it was repairs to it as well. So it started off with an assessment that it was a voltage regulator. We were having intermittent power issues. Replaced the voltage regulator, and then the entire system stopped functioning and there was no more intermittent power. So at that point, they decided to haul the generator to their shop where it would be easier to work on. And that's when we sourced the rental. And then the repairs ended up being a computer. So they replaced that, and now it's all wired back together and hooked up.
And so repairing the generator is going to cost us $25,000.
Yes, they already had done it. Yes, that was the cost that they are charging us.
Well,
It was an emergency-based situation, so.
Here, it's part of our purchasing policy is in an emergency, we do the work and come back for approval from the board. It's just above the signing authority within that same purchasing policy, so I'm not able to make a unilateral decision on this. I need to have board approval for this emergency repair.
What was that dollar?
It's 25,600.
For the approval.
Oh, it's 25,000. I can assign up to 25,000.
Just over.
I'm fine, it's something like $30,000 per gallon. $30,000 for the initial, and then I can't remember, but it's how much per gallon per day.
Yeah.
I think it's expensive.
Very. Plus, the impact on aquatic life.
Board member comments? Right, I'll open up to the public.
Okay,
Three.
for the wastewater,
Yes,
so then why is it coming out of the cost of that professional services?
it's their
Oh, it's our-
professional services
our-
under ALT.
We had a separate budget.
You have a professional services?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Probably should say wastewater professional services.
Got it.
Thank you.
Is that it?
I believe so, yes. Okay, thank you. This time, I'd like to see if there's a motion to make the authorization.
I make a motion that we authorize the expenditure.
Seconded by Director Siemens, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously for the $25,692 expense. None opposed. Motion passes.
Mr. President, there is a bit of time in our schedule and we cannot start the public hearing until 6, which is, we can do board order requests. And then if you would like, we can go into closed session and we can address the closed session item and then come back and recess until the public hearing.
I know we have a board member request for future agenda item.
You need that up?
Yes.
Okay, I got actually 2 requests for ideally the next board meeting. The first agenda item would be to pay off the Walton loan. And, by doing so, and we have the money already to do it, be in the neighborhood of
I believe the Walton loan is over $1 million.
No, pay off of the loan.
We only have like 143,000.
Okay, sorry, I apologize.
12,000 a year.
Yeah, we have, well, and that leads me to the second agenda item. Well, the first agenda item is the board to pay off that loan, you know, I want to consider doing that. The second part is that particular fund has about $1.2 million in it, and would like us to discuss or we'll find out why it's there and how it got there. I want to keep them separate items because I don't want the payoff to be delayed. So that's why I want two separate items.
Yeah, we're gonna look into it and we will, check it on next week.
All right, that's the only request I had.
Any other board member input for future agenda items? I have none. No comment. So, the recommendation was supposed to be in closed session. Okay. So it's now 3:29 PM. Close for this meeting, closed session.
Any public comment for closed session?
I didn't see, so, no public comment for closed session. So now, in the meeting, 3:29 PM.
You said there's no.
Is there any, she asked, seeing no public comment.
Is there?
Yes,
Yes.
somebody asked.
No.
We're not even, we're adjourning to closed session.
Yeah. So we're journeying to closed session now at 3:30 PM.
You guys don't have to move. If you don't want, we have a room to go to if you want to stay here.